Hey guys, it's Lauren. Welcome or welcome back. Today we're doing the first installment, I believe, of this new series I'm starting where I'm basically going through my makeup collection category by category and showing you the products that I have currently in that category. So today we're starting with primers. I'm going to go through, share which ones I currently have, kind of a brief, how I feel about them, whatever. And I will be having all the products that I'm mentioning linked in the description box down below if you would like to check them out. Please know that any link with an asterisk beside it is an affiliate link, which is just a link that I can make a commission off of your purchase from. It's no extra cost to you, but I like to be, very transparent about that. But with that being said, let's get into the primer collection. So the first product I want to talk about is more of like a setting spray, but you can also use it as a primer. This is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This is the old packaging, but I believe the formula hasn't changed at all. This is one that I purchased. I purchased like a few backup, and I think this is finally my last backup of the Prep and Prime. But I do really enjoy this as a setting spray. I don't really use it as a prep spray very often. I do like to use it though on my brushes to kind of like, give them more of like an intense pigment or really like intensify the textured look of the like shadow. It's a good way to do that. It can really like transform your eyeshadows, and that's what I use this for most often, but it kind of just gets stored in here because it is so big. And also sometimes I do use it as a setting spray. So next we have a primer from Mercier. This is one that came out earlier this year, as well as a few other ones from the brand. Really enjoying this one. Haven't tried any of the other ones. This is the illuminating version, and it does a really good job of just adding a really nice radiant effect. Kind of gives that lit from within kind of glow to the skin. You can use all sorts of foundations over top, like just a skin tint or more of a full coverage look, and it does last a pretty long while and helps the longevity of my makeup. It's one I've really been enjoying. Then we have the the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. This is a really good, just affordable silicone primer. I believe this is a smaller size that's $6, but I know they also have like a larger size that may be $9. You don't get a ton of product in here, but again, you're not paying too terribly much for it, and it does work decently well. There are other silicone-based primers I'd recommend over this one, but it is always one I recommend to beginners or people who are on a budget. It's a really, especially for the price, it's really good. So next we have the Winky Lux Whipped Cream Primer. I went through a phase, I don't know if you guys remember it, but I was really interested in all Winky Lux products specifically. This one was one that I know got a lot of hype back in the day. You can see it's just kind of a putty based primer. It's really interesting. One thing I will say is it's very comparable to the one from Tarte. Let me grab it here. This is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. It's also a kind of putty, silicone-y primer, and I really enjoyed this one. It does a great job at kind of smoothing any pores or, texture that I have on my face. Foundation just applies a lot more evenly on top of it. This one it feels like it probably clogs my pores a little bit more. You can definitely feel it on the face. I don't know. Between the two, although this one is quite more expensive, you get a lot more product with it, and I feel like it is worth the money in comparison to this one. I still use it on occasion, but it's just not my favorite. Speaking of silicone primers, here's one from The Ordinary. It's the High Adherence Silicone Primer, and this is a very affordable primer. I'm still testing it out. I don't really want to give my full opinion on it. So far, I have mixed feelings on it, so I will try and update you guys in the future. But as of right now, I would hold off just because it's definitely not a product I would recommend. Maybe I will come to love it, but I do need to test it out just a little bit more. Here's an SPF that I used to use a lot. I don't use it quite as often anymore. It's the Ultra Lift Transformer Anti-Age Skin Correcting Sunscreen from Garnier. It has broad spectrum SPF 20, and although that's not a super, high sun protection level, I do use this, and I feel like I do get pretty good sun protection whenever I do end up using it. I just kind of throw it on, and I can really layer it up because although there is a little bit of a tint, a little bit of a radiant look to it, I don't ever feel like I'm applying too much. Like, I don't feel like I look crazy. You can, foundation, things like that, apply nicely over top. So this is one that I used to go to a lot. So now the one that I'm using a lot more is from Supergoop. It is the Glow Screen. I believe this launched earlier this year. This has SPF 40, 1.7 fluid ounces, so you get a decent amount of product. It is in just your typical squeezy tube, and it's very illuminating. It gives a teeny tint to the skin. You can definitely see that radiance, that glow, which I actually very much enjoy. I know they have like a unseen one that is also, I believe, SPF 40 or whatever, but not only does this look good on the skin, wear good under makeup, really protect my skin for long periods of time, it also just does a great job, like when I'm out in the sun, when this is all I'm wearing. I don't know, I have very sensitive skin, so I have trouble finding, high quality, good sunscreens that'll really protect my skin from, UV rays and the sun and everything like that. And this does a really good job. I mean, I can lay out in the sun for really long periods of time and maybe only reapply this like once or twice in the span of like 3 or 4 hours, and my face looks fine. It looks great. And typically the only sunscreen that can do that without irritating my skin is a mineral sunscreen, and this is not, which I love. It doesn't give that white cast, that white looking, powdery look to your face, and I just have really been enjoying this. You'll probably see it in either, not sure when this video is going live, but you'll probably see it in a previous favorites video or maybe an upcoming one. Here's another illuminating primer I've been enjoying right now. Not quite as much as the Laura Mercier one, but I still do enjoy it, and this one is way more, way more affordable. It is the Milani Prime Light Strobing and Pore Minimizing Primer. It does a really good job at adding radiance without being too crazy. I think the name strobing is a little bit misleading because it makes you think that it's just going to be so over the top. And when you do first put this on your face without, having anything over top, like a base, foundation, skin tint type thing, it can be a little, like you can definitely see the shimmer where this one looks a little bit more natural. This, once you put on a foundation or some sort of base on top of it, then it becomes that more lit from within type of look and more natural. Doesn't really pore minimize. It doesn't have a lot of like skin benefits. It doesn't feel too heavy, but it also doesn't feel like it's really doing anything, improving the longevity of your makeup or the way that it wears on your face. But it is a pretty good primer, and I believe it's only like $10 or $11. So here's the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. If you've been around, I used to adore this, and then I did some more research into the ingredients, realized there were a few ingredients in here that were really irritating my skin, and there were a lot of ingredients that just I did not appreciate in this product, so I haven't used it. I really need to declutter it, but I just don't know who to declutter it to, and I don't know, but really have not been enjoying this lately, and at this point, I don't think I'd recommend it. Now we have another hydrating primer. It's the Master Prime from Maybelline, the Hydrate and Smooth version. This is one I love using on like, friends and family members when I'm doing their makeup if they have like normal or dry skin. I feel like foundations apply really nicely over top of it, and a lot of people's skin gets along with this formula. And if they don't, I end up using this one if they have like more oily skin, combo skin. This is the Blur and Smooth Master Prime, and these are, I believe, both $10. And, they're both really good formulas, pretty affordable. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy them. This one's a little bit more smoothing, pore filling. This one's a little bit more smoothing and like hydrating. So you can kind of understand which one you would want based off that. Here's a setting spray that I don't know, I think they repackaged. It's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea. This is the travel size version. I really love the smell of it. It has like a citrusy type smell, but I really don't use setting sprays very often, especially ones that are heavily scented, because I worry that they're going to irritate my skin. Although fragrance is not a big issue for me typically, I do worry occasionally about that, so I don't use this very often when I'm traveling. If I know that, I'm going to be, I don't know, sightseeing, doing something, this is nice to have because it does help improve the longevity of my makeup, and I also think it allows for more of like a seamless finish, kind of less powdery, a little bit more natural. And then I have just a teeny tiny sample of the Benefit Professional. Here's this. I mean, I've used full-size versions. I like this primer. However, I don't use it as often anymore because I think I'm realizing that just with my dry skin type, I don't need as much of a pore filling, blurring, smoothing primer. I really just need something that's going to be, more comfortable on my skin, help with the dryness, and this does not really do that. Then we have another e.l.f. primer. It's another one of the mineral infused primers. This is, again, the smaller version, but I know that they have larger versions as well. This is the tone adjusting primer, so it's kind of a brightening primer that'll help with any dullness or, discoloration that you may have. We have another setting spray. This one I also really enjoy, and I love having the travel size version of it. It's the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. Again, I don't really use setting sprays all that often, but this is another one that I do enjoy, and I think doesn't feel too heavy on the face. It just kind of makes everything mesh better together. Next, we have the Catrice Fresh It Up Prime and Fine Aqua Fresh Hydro Primer. This primer I did not get along with, and I really had high hopes for it. I'd heard quite a few people talk about it, and based on like their recommendations, and I know I have drier, more sensitive skin, I was like, this seems like something so up my alley. It's supposed to be hydrating, and really I didn't think it really did that much as far as the effects when I would apply makeup over top of it, and like the longevity, the appearance of my makeup. I don't think there was a major change, and in addition to that, something in it was irritating my skin. I think that my sensitive skin, some ingredient I just was not enjoying. Haven't figured it out yet. I'll try and let you know. It's not one that I absolutely hate, but I just don't know if I'd recommend it, especially when I have so many other ones that I really do enjoy. So here we have the Garnier Clearly Brighter Broad Spectrum SPF 15. This is a daily moisturizer. It's supposed to brighten and to smooth. I used to use this a lot more than I do now. Now that I've found my, I'll insert a picture on the screen from, I can never pronounce the brand, but I will insert a picture on the screen of the primer that I've been loving recently that I've really just fallen head over heels for. I use it morning, night. It's just my go-to. It's great for my sensitive and really dry skin. It really helps with dry patches. So I don't really use this that often. However, I do recommend it. I think it gives kind of a nice sheen to the face. And I don't really use it for the SPF in it just because I think that's a pretty low concentration. However, I do really like it as a moisturizer. Then I have my all-nighter from Urban Decay. This is something I like on very rare occasions. If I know that I need my makeup to last, like not budge, go anywhere, I'll use it. But again, it's not the most comfortable, so I typically don't use it often. Then I have the Hourglass Mineral Veil. This is expensive, very expensive, but I do really enjoy it for special occasions. I can't wear it too often because if I do, then it will end up like drying my skin out over time. But for special occasions and just wearing it like one time and then, you know, proceeding like in other days to wear more hydrating primers, I'll be totally fine. So it is nice for special occasions. It really gives like a flawless kind of look to your makeup, and I just think it's a great product. So here's the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. This is one I'm like unofficially trying to pan just because I've had it for a little bit. I'm worried that, you know, it has vitamin C and other ingredients that are more natural that I'm a little worried are going to go bad soon because I've had it for about a little over a year now. I think I said that. But I do love the subtle scent that this has. It does make my makeup last a little bit longer. It gives a really pretty like luminous look to the skin, but you know, I don't know. I'm excited to finish it up so that I can add another primer that's like illuminating stuff. That was kind of my thing that I told myself. You can't get another illuminating primer until you finish this one. So this is currently the one I'm trying to use up. This is one I've squeezed pretty much everything out of. I got it as a sample. It's the Dr. Jart V7 Priming Moisturizer. It's really good. Only complaint, it kind of has a medicine-y smell to it. I don't know quite what it is, but it feels like a silicone-y primer. It feels like a pore-filling primer. However, it's very smoothing, but also it feels pretty hydrating. Like it just feels good on the face. I feel like my skin feels good after using it. It's like using like skincare, and I've really been enjoying it. But clearly I'm almost out. Then I have the Cover FX Custom Radiance Drops. I don't use them very often. I kind of just, I mean, I would probably put them in foundation or something if I wanted to. I just don't use them very often because I don't find the need or I forget. And then I also have the Smashbox Primer Oil. Obviously, both of these are like mini sizes, but I used to really enjoy this. I kind of just forget about it. It gets pushed to the back, and I try not use like super oily things very often just for, you know, the chance that I'll put on too much and then I'll break out or whatever. But this is one that I do enjoy. I think makeup does apply nicely over top of it. I wouldn't recommend it more than some of these other ones though, and that's again why I probably haven't purchased a larger size of it. So that is it. Those are my primers. If you have any questions, if you want any reviews or anything like that, just let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed today's primer collection video. Let me know what other areas of my collection you want me to show you. I'd love to hear it in the comments, but with that being said, I hope you have a great couple of days until my next video goes live. Thank you so much for watching this one, and if you want to stick around for more content, don't forget to subscribe before you go if you haven't already. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.